Hey guys, welcome back. I'm going to be starting the body work on the Vista Cruiser tonight. I had put some Duraglass on some spots, or short strand fiberglass. I'm not going to video this part. All I'm going to do is take 80 grit on my DA sander. So all I want to do is knock this down so that we can put a coat of body filler on it. So going to go ahead and do this real quick with some 80 grit. We're not looking to smooth anything out as far as like level anything out or anything like that. This stuff is not on there very thick. The only reason why this stuff is on here is just to basically fill in any pinholes that were left from the welding. I just wanted to seal them up so that there was no little tiny areas that any moisture or anything can get into. So I'm going to go ahead and knock this down, and then I'll come back and we'll put a coat of filler on. Okay, I got that all sanded down. I blew off all the dust and everything. And now we can start putting our first coat of filler on. I'm gonna put a little bit less hardener in it than I normally would, just to give me a little bit more working time, so I can try to smooth this out pretty good. I really don't think the body work's gonna take very long. Don't know if I'll do it all in this video or not. We'll see. I'm gonna mix up smaller batches, and I'll do several batches. I'm not gonna show me applying it to the whole entire car. I'll just show you a spot or two, and then I'll do the rest off camera, and then we'll come back and we'll start hitting it with the sander. We'll probably just use the 6-inch file board. So we'll probably hit it down with this first. This works pretty good. It's almost as good as block sanding, not as good as block sanding by hand, but it does work really good. We don't have a ton of body areas that we need to fix that are visible. Most of that welding and everything was inside the window channels, so it's not like we need to go super crazy with the body work here. Around the front of the window on the roof, there was a little bit of rippliness, and that was basically from the roof being loose for a long time because all that was rotted away. And when I welded it, I'm sure it probably gave it a little bit of a warp, but it's not bad by any means. It's not like it's way out of whack where I got to put a bunch of filler on it. I'll probably show you the roof area first, me spreading mud on it. And then what I'll do is spread the rest of the areas, and then I'll show you what it looks like after I've spread all the areas, so you can see how it's smoothed out. And you see here how I'm not stirring this. I am just kneading it. If you stir this stuff, you just create more air bubbles in your body filler, which makes it, then you got to chase a bunch of pinholes. So let's go over here. We don't have a ton of time. I accidentally put a little bit too much hardener. Okay, I'm going to spread this first area on the front of the roof. And the roof dips up towards the hole. So it does come up on an angle. And I like using these metal spreaders because I think it lays the mud down smoother. Now, if you noticed, I sanded out farther into the body so that I could feather my filler. And that's another thing about these metal ones, is you can really take this edge, push this edge down with your index finger, and really get it flat against the body. The smoother that you can get your body filler on, obviously, the easier it's going to be to sand. So if you take your time with this part of the process and get it down real smooth, it's going to save you a heck of a lot of time in the end. I'm not worried about what gets inside the window lip. I'll clean that out afterwards. I'm mainly worried about laying it down as smooth as I can. I'm not going to go on the back side yet. I'm going to run over to the other front side, knock that out. And this might be the only coat I need to put on the front of this. Oh, got a piece of dirt in it. You see here, it drags it. I've noticed if you go over it several times, that also helps take the pinholes out of the filler. So as soon as I get done with this, I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to get the rest of these areas spread. Then I'll come back and we'll look at it before we start sanding it. Now I got a little bit of Bondo on this stainless steel piece over here on the passenger side, on the drip rail molding. Don't wipe it off. Let it dry and it'll peel right off. If you start wiping on it, then it's going to smudge all over it. I could have put some tape on here. I probably will, just in case I were to hit it with the sander. I don't want to damage it, which it would be repairable. You could probably polish out the sanding marks, but it would take a while. It's definitely not real quick to do. But you can see that little batch of filler, how far it went, because we are not filling in major body issues. That's the whole key with this stuff, is you don't really want to fill in heavy, thick areas with filler. You want to try to get your metal work as flat as you possibly can, because then you're going to have less work doing your body filler. Less sanding, less everything, less material. So that's the first batch. It's starting to dry up now. So I'm going to let that set, get the rest of these areas done, and then we'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like. It's all dried. So you can see I try to spread it as smooth as possible so that there's less sanding involved. This actually feels really good. This had a low spot right here. I don't know if it was from when I welded it or if it was there. Still feel a little bit of a dent right there. But let's start sanding it with the 80 grit. I have a piece of 80 grit on here. I have a mask on, so whatever dust the sander doesn't get, I don't have to breathe it in. So let me set up the tripod up here. See, this is kind of hard to video because if I put it on the roof right here, it's just going to vibrate. So let me stick it over here and maybe this will not vibrate as much. All right, let me see how this sands. Okay, I know that this is still a little low right here because I can feel it being a little bit low. And there's a brace on the back side, so I can't get to it. So I'm not going to sand this anymore because I'm going to put a little bit more filler on here. Sanding it any farther is just wasting time. Now, that sander, you can see there's barely any dust at all on my hand from the sander pretty much picks up all of it. So let's try over here now. So let me take the tripod here and see if I can't move it over here. See if I can see on the screen. I think we're in a good spot. I need something to stand on. Let me grab something to stand on real quick. I'll be right back. That feels pretty good. A little bit high right here on the metal, but not bad at all. Moving around to the other side. Got a little low spot right here. We'll have to do another coat and get that. Let's see how the back of this is. That actually feels perfect right here. Okay, let me get the rest of the roof sanded down and then we'll come back and we'll sand that lower quarter panel. Gonna do one more coat on the whole roof, even though this feels perfect. The reason being, I'm gonna use a lightweight body filler for the last coat. And what that's gonna do is get rid of any pinholes or anything like that. I'll probably hand sand the last coat rather than using a sander, because obviously the hand sander is going to get a little bit more of the rippliness out than that will, because that's only like an 8-inch long pad. We'll probably use a 12 or 16-inch long block for this area. But it's actually looking really good. Like I said when I started, there wasn't a ton of body work to do. It was mostly all the body work was inside these channels, and we still need to spread glue in here and stuff like that, but we'll do that afterwards. I'm not worried about that right now. Just want to get it straightened out, get a coat of primer on it, and then what I'll do is, so basically what I'm going to do primer wise is I'm going to mix up a little bit of epoxy primer. I'm going to treat all the areas with epoxy primer. Then when I go to glue in here, I'm just going to hit this real quick with like an 80 grit disc just to scuff it up. And it's okay if it shows a little bit of metal when I scuff it with 80 grit, but I want to put an epoxy primer over everything first, some 2K primer, and then you know, probably about 3 or 4 good coats of 2K primer. I'm probably just going to do it right here in the shop. I'll turn my spray gun down real low. I don't feel like moving this into the spray booth for only spot primering a few spots. It kind of seems kind of pointless to do that. So I'll probably just drape plastic over the rest of the car and just cut out the areas that are going to get spot primered. Cover the rims up real good. So far no dust or dirt really on them, so we'll just kind of go like that. So let me get the rest of the roof done, and then I'll come back and we'll hit this spot and this lower spot and see what they look like. And then at that point I'll mix up some of the lightweight filler, which is, we're going to use, we'll use this stuff, this Dolphin Glaze. This Dolphin Glaze is a really good stuff by U-Pull. I also use this one, which is called Fantastic Glaze. I think they both work about the same, but this is just about empty. So either I open another one of those or I open up the Dolphin Glaze, but I think I'll just use the Dolphin Glaze. So let me get a little bit of this sanded and I'll be back. Okay, roof's all sanded. Let's sand down this little area right here. I'll get that with the icing. I wanted to scuff this paint all the way to the edge. I take my icing all the way to that edge. Now, if you saw me working right here a little bit harder, I had spread the Bondo past where I had roughed up the paint. So, as you can see, I pretty much sanded it all off because it didn't adhere right there because there was smooth, shiny paint underneath it. So all the shinies, all the areas that didn't adhere are now gone. Okay, let's sand this lower spot real quick. Now, before I apply that dolphin glaze, I am going to take some regular filler like I used on this first coat, and I'm going to hit the couple areas that need it, like that one spot on the roof. I think there was one other spot too. But anyways, I'm going to hit the deep areas for, this spot on this roof. So anywhere that has a little bit of a deeper area, I'm going to hit those areas first with that, let it set for 10 minutes. While it's still a little bit tacky, then I'll go and put my dolphin glaze on. I'm not going to sand between the two coats because I'm going to make sure that that first coat is not fully dry before I put the dolphin glaze on, and they're going to bond together. So I'm still on the first piece of sandpaper that I started with. This is going to be kind of tricky because there's a peg right here and here. I'm tempted to just get rid of them and screw in the molding, but we'll see if I can save them. Some of these areas I'm going to have to hit with the DA sander because I just can't get that one in there. I think I'm gonna get rid of these. They're kind of really hindering me from really sanding this straight. It's not bad, but it has a little bit of a ripple to it. So I think I'm just gonna sand those two off, and then I'll just, when I put my icing over this, I'll just, when I get done painting it, I'll get some stainless steel screws and re-screw those clips in. Because I'd rather that be straight than trying to save those little clips. And I'm probably gonna have to take this screw out up here for this molding to keep it out of the way so I can get that straightened out on the edge there. So I'm gonna go ahead and grind these down, blow the car off, and then I'll come back and we'll put some of the other, the dolphin glaze on it. Okay, I'm gonna mix up some of this dolphin glaze. Now we'll go over there, I'll spread a little bit on camera so you can see how nice and smooth this stuff spreads, not sprays. And I already mixed up some regular filler and filled in the deeper areas that I needed to fill in. So I'm just gonna mix up a little bit at a time. I gotta clean my board. Starting to get dirt and stuff. Old dried Bondo. All right, let's spread a little bit on the roof. You can see this is where I had spread the other stuff. It's still tacky. Just a real nice thin coat. We're just filling in any little pinholes, minor imperfections. After this coat, tomorrow night before I primer, I'll just go over everything, make sure I don't need to hit anything else. This coat's gonna get blocked down. More than likely, I'm gonna probably just hit it with 180. I might hit it with 80. I'll probably hit it with 80 lightly real quick and then move right to 180. But as you can see, I am not loading the body filler on the car very heavily at all. And I like I said, I like to let that short strand fiberglass dry overnight, because then everything you put on top is good to go. If you trap that stuff underneath that's still a little wet, because that stuff seems to take longer to dry, then you have the potential for that to stay wet for a while. And what happens is once it gets in the sun starts drying it out, and then it starts shrinking back because, you know, it's curing the rest of the way. So it's always best to try to let that stuff sit. So, all right, I'm gonna mix up more and continue to do this, and then I'll come back before I start sanding it, and we'll take a look at it. Okay, I have a piece of 180 grit on my block. I'm gonna see how that works before I switch to 80. It's actually a slightly used piece that was on there already. You can see how nicely it locks down, and it's feeling real good. Might have to put some 80 grit on there first though, just to get that other filler that's on there. Let me grab a piece of 80 real quick. That feels nice and straight to me. So I'm going to go ahead and hit all these other spots, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. I don't think I'm going to 180 with this block. I think what I'll do is put the foam pad on the DA sander and just hit it with 180 with the foam pad after I get done blocking it all down with 80 grit. Okay, so now I'm going to go over the car with the DA with the 180 grit with this real soft foam pad. And what this does is keeps you from digging into your bodywork. So it definitely helps not make stuff weighty. hit everything with the 180, and I'm hitting some of these spots on the roof that are the clear coat is coming off. So I'm also feathering those out as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get these areas all sanded down with 180 with the foam pad, and then I'll come back and we'll look at it, and then tomorrow night we'll get into these door jambs and stuff like that, clean them all out, get them all prepped, and then we'll primer all these spots tomorrow night. So let me get this sanded down, then we'll come back and take a look at it. Okay, it's all sanded down with 180. Now, when I was showing you when I first started sanding with the 180 with the soft pad, there was a lot of dust coming out of the sander, and I just wasn't paying attention because the vacuum was on. And then I turned the camera off and I'm sanding and I'm sanding. The hose wasn't plugged into the vacuum. I had the other hose plugged in. So I literally just dusted my whole shop. So I just had to blow everything out. I forgot how bad Bondo dust really gets. It's horrible. So anyways, everything's sanded down with 180. Everything feels really good, actually. Tomorrow we're going to clean up these inside edges everywhere that we need to. Do any more little tiny minor filler that we need to do, and then we're going to get this spot primered. We're going to get all the areas covered with epoxy primer and 2K high build primer. And then Friday, if I have time, I want to come in here and smooth out the pits with some panel bonding adhesive, so that hopefully Saturday, Sunday, I'll be painting this thing. Saturday afternoon would be better than Sunday, because then Sunday I can untape it and probably wet sand and buff it, and it'll be done. But we'll see how it goes, see how the weekend plays out. So that's it for this video, guys. Wasn't a ton of information. This is a very hard car to video because everything's up high. Everything's on the roof pretty much, except for a little bit on the driver's side. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys tomorrow night.